Now, throughout the years, Nintendo has made quite a lot of games. Most of us can't remember all of them. However, there's one type of game they made that I certainly remember: the 3D Mario titles. Now, these are famous across the entire world, and rightfully so. A lot of these titles completely changed the gaming industry by opening new doors or setting higher standards. However, out of all these games, which ones are the absolute best? Well, today we will find out, because I will be ranking all of them. Now let's dive right in. Alright, for our number 8, we will look at a game that was released a couple of years ago on quite a, I would say special console. I'm talking about Super Mario 3D Land, a single-player game in the Super Mario franchise that was made for the Nintendo 3DS and was released in 2011. It is closely based on side-scrolling Super Mario games, but it is a 3D platformer this time in the same style as Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Galaxy. Now, overall, the mission of the game is quite simple: bringing the 3D experience to a handheld console. And in my opinion, it certainly succeeded, even though it's quite linear. Now, personally, I like this game. In a way, it's a more simple and slightly limited 3D experience that will leave you satisfied but hungry for more, which isn't a bad thing. It's better than being completely done with it after playing through it. In general, it presents you with a lot of different mechanics like cool power-ups, amazing airship sections, and more. Super Mario 3D Land has a lot going for itself, especially for how cheap it is. So I would certainly recommend it. Now for our number 7, we will look at the older and bigger brother of Super Mario 3D Land, Super Mario 3D World. Now, this game was released for the Wii U on November 2013, and it's basically a follow-up game to the Land title we just talked about. In general, the game built upon the previous installment, following a similar 3D level design convention inspired by the 2D platformer titles. Again, the goal is quite simple: navigate through a linear design level within the time limit and reach the level's goal pole. However, there is one thing that makes it very different: the co-op multiplayer, allowing you to play with up to 4 people. This is what really sets the game apart. Sure, it has some other things like new power-ups and some mini-games, a level based around shadows, but that's about it. And some of these things even became a standalone game. A good example of this is Toad's Treasure Tracker. However, what really makes this game great in my opinion is the couch co-op gameplay. Playing this with a group of friends and competing for the highest score is a lot of fun. That can certainly make the game entertaining for everyone, even if you think the game is too easy, because then you can focus on getting points and screwing over your friends. So for that reason, I like it a lot. And of course, it also has amazing level design, with levels like Double Cherry Pass being a highlight. Now on to the next, our number 6. Now this one is very different from the others we have talked about so far, because on this spot, I will put Super Mario Galaxy 2, a fantastic sequel where Mario is once again running around in space. Now, I freaking love the first Galaxy game, and while it does end up higher on the list, the second title still does some amazing things and did a good job building upon the concepts seen in the very first title. And some of these concepts are just amazing. One good example being Yoshi, who has a huge role in this game. He allows you to swing around using his tongue, and he also has a set of new power-ups that can be really handy. That alone was already a lot of fun, but that's not all we got. We got so much more, including one of the best giant Bowser boss fights in the entire franchise. So to be honest, it's pretty great. Now we move on to the next one, our number 5. And for this one, we will look at the game where it all began. Super Mario 64, the first 3D Super Mario platformer that was released for the Nintendo 64 in 1996, being one of the launch titles for the console. So clearly there was a lot on the line for Nintendo, but luckily enough people loved it, and now it's one of the greatest and most important games of all time. It is the father of all modern 3D platformers and laid down the groundwork for all future games. Things like movesets, enemy design, voiceover style, level layout, and so much more. And for those reasons we have to respect it. And I bet some of you are wondering, why is it so low on your list then? Well, I do love it, but it also has a lot of problems because it was the first of its kind. So while it was very creative and really cool, it was also odd at times, and things like the camera were a bit experimental. That's why it's not at the top. But still, it did a lot of things right, with one of the best examples being Tick-Tock Clock, a level that is really challenging but offers a lot, being among the best in the entire franchise when it comes to platforming challenges and interesting level concepts. And so, because of stuff like this, I like this game a lot. Now we will move on to our next one, our number 4, one of the most creative Mario games that Nintendo has ever made, period. Super Mario Galaxy. Now this game takes place in deep space, and most of the game's levels consists of many small planets and planetoids, while others have bigger planets. In general, this game is all about traveling from planet to planet, gravity, and more, leaving us with quite a unique game, especially around the time that it was released. Now, as you can imagine, a setting like this is perfect for a platforming game, because the gravity makes it all a lot more interesting. They can create small combats and parkour challenges on those planets, and after you're done, you move on to the next that's completely different. Thanks to this, Nintendo was able to put a lot in this game, and you're constantly fed new concepts and ideas, so it never gets boring. Aside from that, I'm a big fan of the boss fight scene in this game. All of them are an absolute gem, and especially the music of the final boss fight is amazing. But let's move on to our next one. Our number 3. On this spot, I put a game that is incredibly new. We've only been able to play it for a couple of weeks now. I'm talking about Bowser's Fury. Now, I will admit this is not really a full game, and is a lot shorter than all the others on this list, which is a sad thing to be honest, because this game is just amazing. To be honest, I love it more than Super Mario Galaxy even. That's how good it is in my opinion. Now, I have done a video on things I love about Bowser's Fury already, so if you want a more detailed explanation, then be sure to check out that video. It's in the upper right corner. But for this video, I will at least mention some of the things I love about the game. First of all, the freedom. You can basically go anywhere in the world, and as the game goes on, you unlock more and more of the map. And in the end, you have quite a big open world. And the cool thing is, this world constantly changes, with new challenges appearing in older areas and enemies changing throughout. Stuff like this is just amazing, and certainly makes me excited for the future of 3D Super Mario titles. Now on to our number 2, and I bet a lot of people who watch this channel often know which game ends up here. Super Mario Sunshine, a beauty of a Mario game that was released in 2002 on the GameCube. Now the game's main mechanic is Flood, a rechargeable water-based tool that can be used to spray enemies and goop, hover or launch through the air, and dash to high speeds. And all of this certainly makes it very different compared to the previous game, Super Mario 64. Now it's set on a tropical island and it feels like a fun summer game, with a lot of different challenges and missions. While Super Mario 64 was mostly fighting and platforming, this game has even more. Think of stuff like puzzles, minigames, and more. And personally, I love it for that reason. This game offers so much, even stuff that you don't expect from a Mario game, like a squid racing minigame or pinball machine level. Stuff like this is brilliant. Almost all of it is tons of fun, although some things are a bit buggy and hard. But in the end, this game never gets boring, to be honest, because there's always something to do, and a lot of the missions are completely different from the previous one you did. And personally, I think variety is the spice of life. If a game doesn't have that, I tend to get bored quite quickly. And that's also because I'm a bit of an ADHD monkey. So this game, filled with all kinds of wacky missions, is perfect for me. And one other thing I like about this title is Flood. That thing gives you a lot of movement options. Especially the belly sliding is a lot of fun. And now it's time for our number 1, the 3D Mario game that is the best by far, Super Mario Odyssey. Now this game was released in 2017 for the Nintendo Switch and has sandbox-like elements and revolves around Mario exploring Earth-based settings with his new companion Cappy. And what you can do with this new hat friend is throw it on other enemies and objects, allowing you to take control of them. Now, as you all could have noticed by now, I love open world games, and the more freedom they give me, the better. And this game does an amazing job at making the world fun to explore and also effortless. And because of that, I just love it. Just like Sunshine, this game has a lot of different missions and challenges, both big and small, and now the world is completely open. You're not thrown out of the world after collecting one moon, for example. Thanks to this, you can keep exploring the world with nothing stopping you or being in the way. And so you can play this game for hours upon hours upon hours without even being aware of it. And being able to capture enemies certainly makes the game more fun as well, because every now and then you get to mess around with completely new powers. Those things make this game great, and certainly the best of the entire Super Mario franchise. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe, click the bell button, leave a like, and tell me in the comments what your favorite games are, and then I will see all of you in the next video.